Hello, everyone. I have with me the CEO of Yoshi Markets, the latest, actually not the latest, one of the exchanges in ADGM in Abu Dhabi. So, hello, Arshad.
Hello, Walid. How are you? All well?
All good. So, Arshad, in March this year, you received your license from ADGM as exchange, MTF, and a custodian for virtual assets. So what does it mean for you as Arshad? And what does it mean ADGM for you?
So, Walid, we started working on this project like for a few years, and we have been very closely involved with ADGM from the very beginning when they brought out the virtual assets regulations way back in July 2018. They have been the pioneers, if you see globally, in the digital asset space to bring formal regulations and start regulating this space where exchanges like us can operate and the clients can trade and leave their assets in a more secure and transparent environment. So I think it means a lot for us as well as for the jurisdiction where all this is happening, and businesses like us are coming up. After spending a couple of years on getting ourselves ready in terms of infrastructure, technology, team, and the business, we finally got the final approval and license, and we have started the we have gone ahead with the soft launch and started onboarding the customers also since last week. So it shows that, see, you have to have a very slow and steady approach in this industry, at the same time maintain a big amount of perseverance, because this is not about the race to be the first one, but it's about the race to be the most sustainable one. And I think there it takes a lot of planning, a lot of like midnight oil burning, where you will come out with the right business model which sustains itself and gives a perpetual presence to the entity.
So too many exchanges in the market, many of them are kind of giants, talking about Binance, Crypto.com, FTX. So what is unique about Yoshi Markets as a platform, as an exchange, and how you will deal with this kind of competition?
So see, first thing, of course, this question comes up very often. So first thing that I say is that, see, this industry is not even 1% of its capacity still. We are at a very early stage of adoption of crypto and digital assets, and we are not even like forget about participation from the individuals or retail. Even the institutions have not come in till now. So I think in the next few years, we will see a huge growth and huge evolution of this market. So in that terms, I'm not worried that there is already competition from existing giants, because what I'm saying that we are going to develop this industry and this market to like 100, 200 folds. And there will be space for many more such giants when the market evolves and grows to those levels.
You brought the second question to my mind. So always in your communication, and just now you talked about institutional investors. So are we tagging Yoshi Markets as a platform for more about institutional investors than retail investors?
Yeah, so see, that's an important angle for Yoshi Market, because when we started building this business, we first went for a jurisdiction which gives us full regulation under which we can set up our exchange. We didn't want to start something which is just like unregulated, and we start onboarding customers and start creating some history which not many institutions will be comfortable with. So I think the institutions in the region and globally, of course, they are looking to get into like tip some bit of their business portion into digital assets, but they look for a venue which gives them a very clean slate approach. So I think from that perspective, we offer something which is very appealing for those institutions, because first of all, we are regulated, and that too regulated by one of the most credible and progressive jurisdictions in digital assets space throughout the world. And second thing is we bring a very neat and clean platform. So for those institutions who want to start, they have, I think, Yoshi Markets as one of the top choices.
So you strike the deal lately with Tezos to develop digital tokenized asset ecosystem. So how this will work? Are you gonna apply to license every asset that you're gonna list, or it's one by one? I mean, because every asset itself might need a different approach from regulators.
Yeah, so that partnership has been done keeping our long-term business plan, because as you said that, okay, what is our uniqueness, or what is our strategy to create our own space in this industry and to get more attraction from the investors and users. So what we are planning to do is not to just keep Yoshi Market as just another platform where clients can come buy and sell cryptocurrencies. We want to offer our platform to even businesses who want to raise capital, and they can do that very comfortably using security tokens, which is one of the most favored form of digital assets, now picking up a lot of attention for businesses to raise capital, and that gives an exposure to investors also to directly invest in a project which has some substantial value. And there, I think we differentiate ourselves again because of our regulated nature, because these kind of activities are highly regulated. Like if someone wants to do an IPO, let's say in London or US, they have to go through a long list of KYC and due diligence. So similarly, if someone wants to issue a digital security tokens, they have to go through that process. And then a partnership with Tezos, which is one of the leading blockchains, which has been doing some fantastic job in the digital token space, and one of the top blockchain companies in the world. I think that gives us a substantial leverage to bring those projects and get them listed on Yoshi Markets and get our investors to participate in that opportunity, and at the same time offering the businesses a very regulated and transparent platform where they can raise capital in a very quick turnaround time, as well as by not incurring too much of cost and keeping the process very simple.
So this is at least one of the benefits of blockchain and crypto at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah, and we have to utilize the these aspects of blockchain. Yeah. Because that's where many users or many investors don't know. They just see the cryptocurrencies. They don't really understand the
underlying capability
and what problems they are solving and what kind of businesses they are growing. So that is an important angle for all the investors to really understand.
So you start onboarding a global client, as you said in your announcement last week. So usually what happened, every exchange getting a license here, so they have to work in a very contained environment for a while before start up getting or onboarding global customers. So is it the case you already passed this incubation period, if I can say, with ADGM?
Yeah, so we have passed that period. So now we are open. We can onboard customers from any part of the world, as far as they can satisfy our KYC requirements and they're not coming from sanctioned countries. So we have put in place a rigorous KYC process, which is rigorous, but it's very seamless and very simple. The client doesn't really go through too much of efforts to onboard. So the user interface and the user journey is very, very seamless and very user friendly. But in the background, our engines and our software and our processes take care of doing a rigorous KYC. So we ensure we are not letting any malicious or any someone with bad intention to enter and create any kind of issues in our marketplace.
Arshad, why you took this decision to be self-custodian, or why you didn't count on a better or specialized, reputable institution to do the custody for you? And is it something of advantage for Yoshi Markets?
Yeah, certainly it's an advantage. And see there, if you have your own custody, there the main challenge and main technical infrastructure building is required, because just setting up an exchange is simple. Like you can have a trading platform, let the client trade, but what happens post trade is something very serious and very challenging. And if you can offer that facility to your customers, then again you create a strategic advantage for the marketplace.
So stable coins. So Luna crashing. All regulators around the world are trying to figure out how to deal with stablecoin. Japan just released a paper on that. What else? USDT, their last statement, 72 billion token. They are backed only by 3% in fiat money. So G7 are gonna discuss stablecoin in the next meeting. So what's your views on stablecoin?
See, I think this is the most important subject that people should really discuss and understand this. And that's, again, I say with a lot of pride that these are the things that will get eliminated when you have exchanges like Yoshi, who operate under a very stringent regulatory framework. And that regulatory framework is not only the framework to do KYC of the customers. When you onboard a customer, that is one part of your regulatory responsibility. Another big responsibility is what products you are listing on your market. And I think there, most of the exchanges which are not regulated, they fail, because they list any project that comes to them and pays the listing fee. They are more than happy. They have
and they need the stable coin if they are not regulated. They cannot pair with the normal.
Yeah, so that's a very valid point you mentioned. So there, I think again we have a big advantage. First of all, if I was someone, if I had an exchange and if Luna kind of project would have come and wanted to list on our exchange, we would have said no, because I think the algorithm is too complicated for anybody to understand. What was going on with the UST pairing with the Luna token, and then with the dollar 1-to-1 ratio. It didn't work, algorithm failed, and it created a mess in the market. So I think that's another angle that people have to really look at, because in just few years, we have 20,000 or more cryptocurrencies. Do we really need so many cryptocurrencies? We don't really. We can keep it to handful and they can be sufficient to manage this ecosystem. Of course, I'm not saying that there should not be more projects that come. They should come. They can be in the form of security tokens or digital tokens, rather than being so complex projects, which forget about normal investor, even a very sophisticated investor will not be able to understand. And that's what really happened in the case of Luna. And that's why we create a wrong impression about this industry. Now it gives a chance to all the UAEs and all the central banks in the world to start again putting or clamping down on crypto or digital assets, like you said, G7, other monetary authorities. They will get, of course, when you give them excuses, you give them chances, they will come back to you because they already don't like you. And these are the reasons that they don't like us. And we should not let these kind of things happen. It's our moral responsibility.
I fully agree. Last question about mining. So mining is facing a real struggle now, at least in the US and Europe. So everybody start considering the regulation that allow those miners to operate inside. So anything related to carbon-based fuel is gonna be somehow under new regulation. So what's your view about that, and how this will affect Bitcoin itself as a proof of work main driver of the cryptocurrency?
See, mining has always been into these ups and downs. We first saw what happened in China, then in Korea, then of course, let's say in Europe, then US. But I think the industry has outgrown itself to be not so widely affected by these decisions. So when China issues happened, everybody thought this is the end. But then immediately Europe and some parts in US, they picked up, or even Asian markets, they picked up. Then, of course, these issues start happening between Ukraine and Russia that affected again the mining. Then US government came out with some regulations. But I think this industry is very agile. At the same time, it is very fast moving. So they find new jurisdictions very easily, and there has been a tremendous quick adoption. And in that manner, I think particularly UAE will be the greatest benefiter out of this move that is happening. And I don't know if you've heard about it or not. There is the world's largest mining farm that is being set up in Abu Dhabi. And of course, this is going to result in a lot of business flowing to this part of the world and some other Asian markets. So I think I'm not much worried about this thing. It may have a temporary effect on the markets, which I think these times the markets have been affected by so many different factors, macro, micro, technical, regulations. So it all has affected. So I think this will be the last issue that we will face. And going forward, things will become much more smoother, because then they will move to a jurisdiction which is recognizing things in terms of regulated activity. There is a procedure to do it. So there won't be any possibility that things will come under a scanner and they may have a chance of being shut down. So I think these are opening up a lot of opportunities for us here in this region. And this region sits on solar power. So I think that's another beauty that we have. Then you don't have carbon fuels being used to do the mining.
So we were the first to cover the story of the biggest mining facility in Abu Dhabi. I agree with you, and with this weather condition, I'm not sure about how much I say that we will succeed here in Dubai to do it or not. Anyway, thank you for your time. So everybody, this is Arshad Khan, CEO of Yoshi Markets in Abu Dhabi ADGM.